Make sure you too. What's up? Listen, I've been off my live tip for a minute. Y'all see me? What's up, YouTube? I am Steph Jackson, athlete freedom agent and wide receiver coach. Tonight we are going through what is this? Part three of the name, image, and likeness rule. So you don't know what the NIL is right now, aka NIL, right? If you don't know what it is right now, it basically says that now college student athletes can get paid based on their name, their image, their likeness. As we're about to see in some states, their autographs, which you can get paid for your autograph anyway, but some states just went ahead and put it in the law. A few states did. Your voice, your athletic reputation, so you can get paid for being you. What you can't get paid for, it's very important to note that because you're still considered an amateur, wink, wink, you cannot get paid for um, performance. Like you could get an NFL contract or get bonuses and stuff for like based completely in your performance. Because honestly, that's what your pro contracts are based on, your performance. Okay, care how popular you are. If you're a quarterback throwing 30 interceptions a year, who cares how popular you are? Who cares how many Instagram followers you got? They're not gonna keep you. Okay. But to keep the amateur label on college athletes, then you can't get paid for how well you play. All right. So the name of the game in college is really just get a bunch of social media followers, um, whether it be through because you're so likable on social media or because you're just that good and everybody wants to follow you. Okay. It is what it is. So tonight we got our next 10 and we're just gonna hop right in. Okay. So first up we got Maine. Okay. So Maine, at the time we did this, they were pending, but now it looks like what's today? About a week ago, Maine went ahead and it looks like that this bill may be passed. So what you need to know about Maine's bill is that it's super short and sweet. It's got the baseline provisions for NIL bills, meaning it prohibits the school from stopping you from getting from profiting from your name, image, and likeness. It prevents anybody from stopping you from getting professional representation. It also prohibits like NCAA, NAIA, NJCAA, which is National Junior College. And it prohibits them from punishing your school because you're earning money based off your name, image, and likeness. Now, the key component to Maine's law is that Maine is the first state that I have seen, and we're going to alphabetical order. So not in time, but the first one I've seen, the first one we're going to talk about, to say that you as a student athlete can earn compensation from the sale of your own signature or autograph. So you can autograph footballs, basketballs, lacrosse ball, whatever. Um, and you can sell them on your website or you can sell them door to door or however you want to do it. So that is the first state that we're going to talk about that actually expressly says, hey, you can make money off of your autographs. Okay. Hopefully, y'all doing that anyway. Honestly, that's just a super, super quick way. It's an easy way to get in there. If you know that you're gonna be that dude in professional sports, you know what I'm saying? Then who doesn't want an autograph from you? Right? Think about it. If you got faith in yourself like that, the autograph gonna be worth a lot one day. Okay, so anyway, that is Maine, right? So the key thing about Maine is you can expressly, when I say expressly, that means they actually wrote it into the law that you can get paid off of your autograph, off of the sale of your autograph. Keep that in mind. Okay. Next up, we got Michigan. Michigan is also cut and dry, very just base things like they can't stop you from earning money. The school can't get penalized for you earning money. For Michigan, you have to disclose any potential name, image, and likeness contract. When I say disclose, I mean you have to tell it to the school at 1 week before entering into the contract because the school wants to review it. So if you don't have an agent, which a lot of you probably don't, then your best bet is to anytime somebody wants to work with you, let your coaches know, your athletic director, and definitely your school compliance officer, your athletic compliance officer, because they're usually lawyers. There you go. But they can't get paid off of anything. They can't be agents or anything like that. Okay. Um, Michigan also has set up a nonprofit trade association that represents schools. They said they must provide a report to certain legislative committees on the NCAA progress toward developing like a national NIL policy, and also any action that Congress had taken to develop a federal law, and a summary of preparedness to implement Michigan's NIL law for each institution. So Michigan is doing their research, right? They have very baseline NIL provisions anyway. So it's like Michigan is kind of just biding their time until either the NCAA or the feds come up with a blanket law for everybody. That is so far that has not happened. Um, I don't know if that's gonna happen anytime soon, just because the feds kind of leave it to the states to kind of sort all this stuff out a lot of times. Also, I don't know if the states, it would not behoove the states to, just go with like one blanket federal law. The states never do, right? The way that works is that federal law is kind of like you can go in, it's kind of like the limit. States can do this, they can go anywhere under the limit, right? So if federal law says everybody can carry a gun, then state law says yes, you can, but you have to meet these standards, right? So that's how it is. So Michigan, cut and dry. You have to disclose or tell your school about and submit any potential contract you may enter into 7 days before you can enter into it because the school wants to review it. Okay. And Michigan is also waiting for the feds and the NCAA to make like blanket provisions, and also your schools have to provide reports to say, hey, this is what we're doing to implement Michigan's NIL law. Is it a bit? It's not a bit much. It's a lot. It's too much. Like Michigan's kind of just like hurry up and wait. Okay, next, one of my favorite states, Minnesota. So that bill died. They do not currently have a bill. It is pending. Right now, as I speak, it is probably going through, but stuff moves slow sometimes when it comes to like the Senate or the House or whatever. Um, so you should know that they're pending. So if you are going to school in Minnesota, you need to just call your school to see what your school's provisions are for the NIL, like how each school is handling it. Okay. Next, we have Missouri. That's how they really say it, y'all. Missouri. Missouri is also just baseline NIL stuff. Their law went live. Their law went live last July, just like everybody else, just like most states, July 1st, 2021. So in their law, it says in order to restrict any student athlete, so in order to restrict you from receiving your NIL compensation during there's a official mandatory team activities. So what you see in every law is that they say something about mandatory team activities. So Missouri is actually throwing you a bone here. Okay, they're just like another state we mentioned earlier, where they're saying where they put a cap on mandatory team activities because they're saying you can't make money during these activities. Like you can't, no commercial marketing, none of that. You, it's team activities. They don't want you doing NIL stuff during team activities. I get it. So what Missouri says, like one other state we already spoke about, says that in order for this thing to be a mandatory team activity, it must one be recorded in writing and two be made publicly available. Okay, and it also caps mandatory team activities to 20 hours a week during the season and just 8 hours a week off season. Okay. So Missouri is really helping you out because during mandatory team activities, that's when they can limit your or restrict you from taking part in any NIL anything. Okay. So they have Missouri has the same provision as Massachusetts. If a school enters into a commercial contract that requires a direct or indirect um, use of a student athlete's name, image, and likeness, they must conduct a financial development program once a year. So just about every state, 90% of the states, I'm not gonna say all of them because I may have missed one, but just about all of them have a provision that you have to take a financial development or financial literacy and life skills is what you'll normally see, financial literacy and life skills program. Okay. The Missouri one says conduct a financial development program once a year, up to 15 hours long. That is what? Because who finna sit in there for 15 hours with y'all? Not me. No. But they just giving them, they're just saying it can be as long as you want. No. I hope Missouri is not tripping like that. I hope them schools ain't tripping like that. Okay. But take advantage of the financial development program or financial literacy and life skills. One state is even gone so far as to give you time management, social media and marketing, that sort of thing. So these are super like, y'all take advantage of this stuff, please. Okay. All right. Next, we got the SIP, good old Mr. Stippy. Um, Mississippi says that the NIL contract, you must tell your school within 3 days of execution of the contract or 3 days before your next game, whichever comes first. So just be ready within 3 days to tell the school about your contract. It also allows student athletes to enter into provisions that conflict with team contracts or school contracts only if the school gives express written consent. Okay. So let's say you are in, um, let's keep it simple. So let's say you are at a school that has Nike, the team signed with Nike, yada yada. But you athlete signed with Adidas, and you want to wear your Adidas football cleats during a game. Well, the contract that the school has with Nike says Nike everything head to toe. Okay, you Adidas though. So what that means is that if you want to enter into a provision that conflicts, because the conflict is the school is Nike, you're Adidas. So if you wanted to wear those cleats, you would have to get express written consent from your school to do so, or else you're gonna have to take them off or not play. You decide. Mississippi also says you can't enter into an NIL contract before you enroll in school. So if you're really good um, high school basketball player like Mississippi produces, then sorry, you better go sign a college scholarship before you enter into any NIL contract. Okay. Mississippi sets the contract age at 18 years old, meaning that when you turn 18, you are of age to make this a legally binding contract. Okay. Got it? Got it good. Okay. So that's the SIP, Mississippi. Let us look at Montana. Um, So Montana expressly allows the schools to one include a license to use a student athlete's name, image, and likeness in the provisions of a scholarship. So when you sign that scholarship, you're also signing an agreement that says you can use my name, image, and likeness. So read everything you sign. Also, it allows the school to prohibit the use of your name, image, likeness on campus at school functions or in advertisements. So you can hit them like Jordan. Like Jordan didn't give the growing up when I was growing up. Jordan was just like this kind of mythical 23 player. They never said his name. Like he did not give them a license to use his name, image, and likeness in the video games. And he was the biggest star basketball had ever seen. Okay. So that's how important your name, image, and likeness are. All right. So Montana allows for your name, image, and likeness to be prohibited. So let's say, you big stuff, big man on campus, big woman on campus, that sort of thing. And you say, hey, I want to protect my brand. So I want to prohibit you from using my name, image, and likeness on campus during any school functions, during any advertisement. Because remember, it feel good as a college athlete, right? To walk on campus and it's a big scroll of you sitting there. Y'all know how it is. They always got you, not you, but they put huge displays of athletes up all over campus, whether it be like on the side of the football stadium, maybe some posters up around campus, that sort of thing. Or you can prohibit that. Yep. Um, Montana also allows your school to serve as an agent to manage your NIL contracts. I just talked about that. If you don't have an agent, which at this point, unless you just, you know, top notch, not saying you're not, but marketable. When I'm talking about top notch, I'm talking about marketable. So let's say you have 1 million followers, you the star football player at a huge university. You definitely need an agent. Okay, the average college athlete doesn't really need an agent. Okay, so Montana says, hey, the school will serve as your agent to manage your contracts. So if somebody hits you up and wants an appearance, that sort of thing, the school can look at the contract for you. Like I said, your compliance officer is a really good resource because 9 out of 10 they'll lawyer you. Okay, that's Montana. Let's move on to North Carolina. Now, North Carolina's was also um Montana's law is effective June the 1st of 2023. Please note that next year, June the 1st, 2023. Mississippi's law was effective July 1st, 2021. Now, North Carolina. Okay. North Carolina's law is a go right now. So July 1st of last year, of 2021. Okay. So it was an executive order that was signed into law by the governor. So sometimes the governor can use his or her power to sign in an executive order, meaning this is law. Don't even vote on it. It's law. Um, North Carolina is really flexible. It uses really permissible language and it leaves room for every school to formulate its own rules, right? So North Carolina is really just like sharing the responsibility of even coming up with a law, deflecting it to the schools. So our provisions are really just base. They can't stop you. When I say base provisions, like I explained before, I mean provisions saying like they can't stop you from using your name, image, and likeness for compensation. Um, the school can't get fined or punished for you using your NIL for compensation, that sort of thing. Disclosure, you must disclose it to a school usually within 72 hours. Some states even have within 7 days, that sort of thing. That's what I mean when I say cut and dry. Like every state kind of has those same provisions, but they kind of add a little bit more. Okay, that's North Carolina. So North Dakota does not have anything in place. So what that means is if you're getting if you are getting recruited by schools in North Dakota and you sign with schools in North Dakota, you need to get with your school, your AD, your compliance officer to see what the school's policies are. Okay, because the state does not have North Dakota does not have an NIL law in place. Moving right along. to Nebraska. So Nebraska's law is called the Nebraska Fair Pay to Play Act. Fair pay to play. In the under the Fair Play, that's a tongue twister. Under the Fair Pay to Play Act, it allows NIL compensation to be used in calculating your income for need-based financial aid. I don't agree with that, but it does because they're saying you bringing in this money. Well, if you making this amount of money, you should be able to afford school, right? Why do I have to use my NIL money to fund school? Okay. Um, it also prohibits you from entering a contract if it one requires you to display, sponsor apparel, or advertise during official team activities. There's that word again. Or two, if it conflicts with the team contract. There's that word. It's like every state has that. It also creates a right to sue. It also allows every school to select the date on or before July 1st of next year, 2023, when the act will take effect. That's a very odd provision. It's basically saying, okay, schools, when do y'all want to have NIL policies? That's odd. Odd. So Nebraska heavily governs your agent, like athlete agent. It has athlete agent provisions in it as well. Okay. So that is, I think that's all we got today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No. We go New Hampshire. New Hampshire's number 10. Counting may not be my strong suit, but I did count that. Okay, so lastly, New Hampshire is pending. Okay, it has no law as of yet. The proposed date of effective date is July 1st of this year, 2022. So I will keep you posted on New Hampshire. If you're getting recruited by New Hampshire and you sign with a New Hampshire school, just go to the athletic director and find out their NIL policies because the state of New Hampshire does not have any. Okay. That is all I have for tonight, today, this morning, this afternoon, whenever you're watching. Shout out to you. Um, please like this video if it helped you. Share it to an athlete in one of these great states that needs to hear the NIL laws. And also subscribe because duh, subscribe to your girl channel, okay? I'm hitting you with a free game, which is this. I'm also hitting you with training because that's what I do. All right. I love you to life. God bless. And your girl is out. If I can end this live.